In a little over 6 weeks from now, I am taking my Quicksilver 640 weekend called Aslan on its biggest adventure yet. Nearly 150 nautical miles all the way from Christchurch, Mudeford down to Falmouth in Corwall. Now, to get her ship shape and ready, we have got a snag list full of things that we need to get sorted before we make the epic voyage down to Cornwall. Now, these include replacing the gypsy because the anchor chain keeps slipping when I'm retrieving the anchor, fit the solar panel so that we can have confidence in the batteries that are fitted to the boat when we're at anchor, of course, when we're overnighting, when we're going to be way offshore doing all sorts of fun stuff. I need to seal the windscreen because I have a slight leak which is causing a bit of drippage into the V-berth, the bunk, which is where, of course, I'm going to be doing a lot of sleeping. We need to scrub the boat because she's absolutely filthy and needs a good clean. I would like to sand and oil the wood trims at the back of the boat just to make sure she's looking her best for the big trip. I would also like to replace the hydraulic lines and seals on the boat for the steering. We do have a slight leak which I can manage, I can keep on top of, but to have full confidence then it would be good to get that done. We also need to fit the remaining rub rail, so I replaced 3/4 or 2/3 nearly of the rub rail around the boat to a new black trim just to make it look smarter and also reseal it as I go along. But we've got a little stretch of white stuff that we need to continue to replace as well. Now, I've had a number of boats over the years now. This, if you include my Sib, is actually my 4th boat in the last 7 or 8 years. Problem is though, as boats get bigger, more expensive, the costs and often the headaches grow with them too. And that's exactly what we've got now. So, we are back to square one. The boat is currently not starting. So at the moment, we're not going anywhere. Number 1 on the snag list is fix boat. You'll recognise this. Crank, 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 no spark, or no start up at least. Feels like deja vu. Although I think I know my way around it. We've got 2 brand new batteries. I've tested the voltage, the charge on them, they're all good. So I'm pretty confident it's not a battery issue. Although it kind of was last time. So I'm not completely writing it off because I know it can be a little bit finicky apparently, so I've been told. Now initially, the low pressure fuel pump, which you normally hear when you first put the ignition on, I couldn't hear it, couldn't run, it wasn't running. So I was like, okay, well maybe the fuel supply module, that unit that we were playing around with last time, is not getting fuel, there's no fuel getting to the engine and we're not starting up. However, I have since tested the wire going towards the fuel supply module and there is voltage going there. So I was like, okay, well let me rule out it's not some wiring that isn't starting the pump up. Anyway, when I plugged it back in, tried it again, and now the pump is working. So I was like, that's confusing. I've tested the Schrader valve, basically on the fuel line that goes into the actual engine itself, where the high pressure fuel pump feeds into. I've tested that. There's a little valve that you can push, and there's no pressure in there. So now it makes me think it's the high pressure fuel pump that isn't working. We replaced that. If you remember early in the year, that was one of the things that I thought it could be, and we replaced it. I wonder if the one that I put in, which was not an OEM one, it was a second-hand, had good reviews, but it wasn't a Mercury standard one because it was a lot cheaper. A real one, I think it was like 300-400 quid for a real one, and I managed to farm one for like under 100 or 110 or something like that. Maybe that's isn't working. Maybe it is faulty. I do though. In here, we have the original one, which still works. There's nothing wrong with this. So, I'm now in 2 minds to take the thing back out, and I've had it in and out 3 or 4 times now. I thought I'd never have to touch it again, but it looks like maybe I do. I've got half a mind just to take it out and test the pumps that are in there. We've replaced the float switch as well, and I've still got the original float switch, which should all be working because it wasn't a pump issue in the end, was it? So maybe I put all the old stuff back in and it might work. Let's see, eh? Alright, I can't lie, I didn't think I'd be doing this again so soon. I mean, obviously I hope I'll never be doing it again, but it is what it is. Right, I should probably remember what size sockets I need for all of this. The amount of times I've had it on and off. Right, so I've got my battery or a spare battery to the side of me, and I've just put some voltage through the original old high pressure fuel pump that we took out the engine a couple months ago, and that is running fine. It's spun up as soon as I put voltage in there. I'm not going to run it too long because it's got no fluids running through it. I don't want to run it dry. So that's good. I know that's definitely working. I can now take the new old pump, if that makes sense. It's a new pump that obviously we put in the system. So here's the old fuel supply module that we were messing around with before that I hope never to see again. But we're going to take the pump out of this one and see what's doing. I am very much hoping this is it, because it's an easy fix and I've got everything. I don't have to spend a penny. The only reason I kept this one on the boat was for exactly this reason, actually, in case we have an issue with the pump, I can swap them out. Whilst you wouldn't want to do this at sea, you could 100% do this at anchor if you were out at sea one day and suddenly a high pressure fuel pump went out. Not ideal, but doable. Okay, moment of truth. We have here the pump that was in the replacement pump that's been inside the engine for the last couple months. So, let's see what happens. There's fuel in that, and it works. Crap. That's not what I wanted. Still no startup. So we know the high pressure fuel pump is working, the low pressure fuel pump is working, the float switch in the fuel supply module that we checked. To be fair, I didn't test it electronically, but we replaced that when we did the other pumps and it's still moving. Apparently that can get gummed up, and if it sticks then fuel won't be getting into that module, but it was full of fuel, so I know that's not the issue. Trouble is, now I don't know what the issue is. Back to the drawing board. Okay, plan of attack for today. Now, engine wise, we're still not running. I haven't actually tested it yet since coming back down today, but it's probably not going to be running, is it? Let's be honest. It could be battery related. It's weird to not have that fuel pressure, but I've ordered the Mercury Marine Vessel View Smartcraft, whatever they call it, which is a little device that plugs into the ECU, has a Bluetooth receiver that I can connect to my iPad, iPhone, whatever. I can see all of the data, see some fault codes, and that will just help me direct my focus a little bit more rather than starting to buy more parts and troubleshoot it. So we'll work on that in the next few days when it arrives. There are a number of things though we've progressed in the boat over the last few weeks, which are really just going to help the boat in terms of its comfort and usability, overnighting capabilities, that kind of stuff, which we can focus on today. I might prod around the engine a little bit just to see if I can figure anything else out, but that's not going to be the focus. Where I am is down at the bow of the boat, and you might have seen in the last few videos over the last few weeks, and if not months, I've removed all of the fabric off of the bow section, off the V-berth here on both sides. Reason being is we had a very small leak that was filling up in this trough here and getting onto the panels down here. So all the cushions and fabrics were getting wet. All of this fabric that was on before, it was just a little bit damp, a little bit mouldy from where it had been sat for months, obviously, and the rainwater had collected before I bought it. So I ripped it all off, thought, right, I'll sort the leak out, we'll put a nice new fabric down in the V-berth, because obviously I'll be sleeping here, spending a lot of time. I want it to be really nice, comfortable, cozy, and yeah, just good for overnighting. So I've been battling this leak for a long time. Originally I thought it was the rub rails that were letting water in, which it isn't. We did have on this side though, on the Weymouth trip, I don't think I actually put it on film, but every time a wave was it was rough conditions of course, every time a wave was coming up the bow of the boat, it was like spurting in up under the rub rail where there was a gap and there's no sealant. But I've resealed that now. We've been out in rough conditions and there's nothing coming in that side, so that's good. The leak on this side was coming from the windscreen. In fact, this corner here, the whole windscreen, to be honest, really wants redoing, but that's quite a big job to take it all off, reseal it all, or clean all the old sealant off and do it again. So it's a job at some point maybe I'll get around to, but what I have done is I've put a bead of sealant, I've tried to get as much out as I can, put a bead of sealant on the outside, and I've resealed all of the inner side. Now it's not the most glamorous of jobs, I mean I am no professional at it by any means, but it seems to have done the trick. Now I am going to put a hose all over the windscreen and see if we've got any water ingress at all. I had a bit of rainfall over the last few days, or since I've kind of properly sealed it or finished it, and nothing's come in overnight, but I'm going to dry everything off properly. The boat needs a really good clean. That's one thing I wanted to do. Now that the sunroof is sealed, resealed, the windscreen hopefully is sealed, the boat should be watertight from rainfall, seawater spray, that kind of stuff. And if it is, we can give the boat a proper good wash, which I haven't been able to do yet. I haven't been able to, from top down to bottom, give it a proper good scrubbing, just because there's too many leaks. So that is the mission for today. Right, first I'm going to get this bone dry and then put that hose on, and fingers crossed we stay bone dry. I will say the first time I overnighted on the boat, which I think was Lymington, I did wake up to quite a soggy bed, unfortunately, because I don't think we had rain, but we had a bit of sea spray come in and it got the cushions a bit damp. Luckily we do have a second berth, and if you've watched the Weymouth video, you'll notice that I slept on the little double berth, it's not really a double, but I guess it's a mini double, but where the table folds down into a berth as well. So that one does stay dry. Right, moment of truth. Let's get the boat wet. Well, we look dry. Yeah, like I said, it's not the prettiest job, I will accept that, but it's a dry job. Sunroof gets a seal of approval. Now, for the bit that I'm more worried about, the windscreen. Well, I have had the hose held on that windscreen for a good few minutes and there is no water. It is bone dry. Now the first time I did that test, within seconds there was water seeping through the kind of wool and obviously down from the windscreen, down the side of the inner side of the hull and trickling into the V-berth. Time will tell, but I think we may have cracked it. Like I said, it's not a permanent forever fix. It wants the whole windscreen removing, all of the sealant taking off and resealing, but like I said, that is a pretty big job that I've got, with the engine issues and other things that I want to sort on the boat. That isn't the priority right now. The next thing I could do is put some proper heavy duty kind of Gorilla Tape on there to seal that line so there's nothing coming in on that windscreen seal, which would be quite a cleaner job as well. So if it continues to leak, or if it does start leaking again, that will be the next step. Right, job done. Right, now before we get on with some of those boat jobs, I've got a bit of an update and announcement that I'd like to make on the channel, which I'm genuinely really excited about. Now for the last few years that I've been making YouTube videos, I've really tried to hold true to the values of being sincere and genuine when it comes to the content that I put out there. That comes to the adventures that I portray, the emotions that I feel, some of the personal life events that I've been through. This is quite an exciting one. It's my first fishing trip in 7 weeks since having open heart surgery, whilst creating YouTube videos and of course living my normal life. One of the best things about having a YouTube channel, and I've said this multiple times and I will always maintain this, is that the people, the community, everyone that I've met, all my friends at the moment that I go fishing with and enjoy boating with, a lot of them I've met through YouTube, and it's a fantastic community that is not just on the south coast but across the country. When we've been to Yorkshire and we've met people, spoke with people who might not know my channel, but they know fishing, they know YouTube of course. Just a great community to be a part of. So link to that. When brands or companies reach out, which every now and then, I'm a very small channel, but every now and then some companies do reach out wanting to collaborate or for me to mention a product in my video. Now, majority of those I don't do. Reason being, I'm not in it for the money. Yes, of course there's a dream of this being a full-time job and it being able to finance and create more opportunities for me in terms of YouTube and fishing. 100%. Who doesn't want that? That's the dream. But I'm not just going to put brands or things on my channel just for that quick buck. That's just not what I want to do. The authenticity and the genuineness of content that I put out, as I mentioned, is so important. With that being said, as I mentioned, there is a bit of an announcement that I've given some pretty serious thought over as to a brand that I am going to be working with going forward. So Strike are a footwear brand that reached out to me a couple months ago, probably about 6 weeks ago actually now, and said, look, we'd really like you to try the shoes, give them a go, and if you do believe in them, if they work for you, then let's talk. And that's exactly what I did. You'll see that this box, with the beautiful branding I must say, is nice and squeaky clean, but these boots are not. I've been using these boots all over the place. We've used them in the last few videos, out on the boat, I've been using them to clean down, wash down the boat, I've been using them at home even, and I've really tried to put them through some harsh conditions because I don't want to put anything on my channel and say that I believe in it when I don't. And I have to say, they're really well built, comfy shoes, quality products. So they're very much aligned with, I think, who I strive to be as a content creator, which is why we decided to partner up. We've got some really exciting plans for the future. Massively just thank you to everyone that's supporting the YouTube channel, that brands even want to talk to me and actually want to work with me. It's super exciting. Hopefully this can go to be a really long-term partnership and we can do some great things and bring everyone along for the journey as well. So a massive thank you. Now it'd be great if you can show Strike some support, show them some love, go follow them on their socials. If you'd like to check out the products, they have given me a discount code of CSmith10, which will get you 10% of course off of any purchases that you do buy. And you can head to strike-footwear.com. The link will be in the description as well to check out the products. Right, next job, let's get to cleaning. Right, well, we might not be able to go anywhere, but at least we're squeaky clean now. That is definitely the cleanest this boat has been since I've had it, because I can scrub it top to bottom now properly. Alright, well it's not all good news, as I've just noticed we have a bit of water that's come back in here. Not a lot, considering that the boat has been absolutely soaked, but even any water is not good enough. So I'm going to have to either attack it with more sealant, which I don't think is going to be worth it and it's just going to get a messy job, or we get some of that tape I mentioned and we just put a big seal of tape around the whole window for now, which might be what's needed. Okay, we are back down the boat. No water from this morning's or yesterday's rain, and actually very little down in the berth as well, which is reassuring. There's a little bit, although to be fair, I didn't properly dry it out when I left it on Saturday. So yeah, that's reassuring. But I have brought some tape, some proper like outdoor waterproof tape stuff, like to seal it. And on the outside of this, I'm going to put a big strip down there, which I think will do it. Wanting to rule everything out, I took both batteries home to put them on charge. Now they're both brand new, so I didn't expect any issues, but upon connecting the charger, one was showing only 40% capacity. This then made me wonder if I was getting a parasitic draw on the batteries. It was unlikely, as I have isolators fitted, but I still wanted to rule this out. Right, that is one battery in. Well, both batteries in, but not connected. What I'm going to do first is check to see if we are getting any form of parasitic draw out of the battery that showed 40% when I took it home. And the way we're going to do that is with my best mate, the multimeter. Right, well, we are not reading anything that's alarming or anything that would show that the battery should discharge when it shouldn't be. Let's get them connected in and see if the engine actually does start, because I could just be chasing something that isn't even causing the issue. Batteries all connected, back in. Moment of truth. Let's see if this sorts it. Well, there you go. We have a working engine and a running boat again. I am a bit confused though. I am going to run the multimeter on there again just to see, double check I am definitely getting a charge back from the engine to both batteries. We checked this last time and we were, but yeah, I'm stumped, guys. I know the fix now is if I ever have issues again, just take the batteries home and recharge them, but I wasn't on the boat for a week and a half, 10 days in fact, so that shouldn't be happening. But what could be happening? We're not getting a parasitic draw. The batteries are brand new. I'm going to double check now to make sure my alternator is putting charge back into those batteries. So if we've ticked that off, what could it be? Right, we are back down the boat, and the first thing I've noticed, down in the V-berth, we have water. It's wet. Not a ton. Actually, there's a little bit drained in there. Oof. Yeah. I'm gonna have to keep attacking the sealant and maybe elsewhere on the window. It stumped me, but there's obviously water coming in somewhere. Anyway, that's not gonna be the focus today. I wasn't gonna do the fabric. The focus today is firstly, make sure that engine is still working. It's been 2 or 3 days now since I was last down. So let's make sure that engine still starts. We'll then have a look at the solar panel. I'm hoping this rain is due to stop so I can drill some holes in the roof, start putting the wiring through. We'll see how far we can get. And yeah, and also set up this vessel view. I'm really keen to get that attached and have a look at the engine with that in there. So let's get to it. Okay, let's see if this engine is going to start. I fully expect it to start. It should do. Let's find out. No. It does not start. What? I am... What? She won't start. What is going on with this boat? Okay, first thing I want to do is I'm going to install the vessel view just to see if that tells me anything that I don't already know. I think it's an electrical problem. It's something to do with the batteries, but let's just put this on and see what's happening with that engine. Make sure there's no fault codes, nothing at all that I'm not picking up or not realising that's causing me this problem. Okay, so this looks like a really easy install. Supposedly varies slightly engine by engine, but on here I have this yellow cap with terminator on it, which simply plugs into the 10-pin harness on here, and then that yellow cap will simply plug into my weather cap on there, which is good to go. And then I just have to mount that somewhere. There's some cable ties that come with it, and it should connect via Bluetooth. Let's give it a go. Okay, that's the yellow cap. Okay, ignore what I said before. There's different combinations that all these clips can go on. I think I figured it out. I've now got 2 of these though, and I'm not sure which one. And they look identical to me. Yeah, there we go. And we'll put the terminator on that one. Okay, I've got it. After a short install using my iPad, we were plugged into the engine's ECU. Okay, I have some extremely interesting insight off of the vessel view. I've got it all up and working now. It didn't take me that long by the time I'd sorted out all the plugs in the back and got it connected, Bluetooth connected to my iPad at the moment, so it will connect to any device that has Bluetooth, so I can connect it to. This is my iPad that I bought for the boat that I run Navionics on up at the helm. I can connect it to my phone. Ideally, what I'd like to have is up at the top above the helm. I have a little, maybe 6-inch kind of display, just an Android phone or something like that, an old iPhone maybe. That I can just run my vessel view on, so it will give me a view of speed, RPM of the engine, which of course I've got already, but it's good to have a digital view of it, which I don't have at the moment. And as you can probably see there, it will also tell me my litres, so my fuel usage, in a lot more detail than I currently have on the dash, of course. So that would be really cool. What's interesting though is I've had a look at the faults, which I can see in here. You have observed faults, which are faults observed while application running, and blocked faults, which it says are faults that are currently blocked. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know exactly what is meant by blocked faults, but if I go into both of them, there are no faults being observed by the app at all, which is good. I don't believe I have any engine problems, or I guess this is similar to like in your car, if you get an engine management light, a warning on the dash. I don't have a digital display to show anything like that. So being able to see this and know that the engine isn't telling me that anything is wrong with it is good, it's reassuring. As I said, I don't think I have any issues with the engine at all. So with vessel view giving me no more clues and still stumped as to why the engine wasn't running, I turned my attention to some of the boat jobs on the snag list that I could progress. With the Gypsy replaced, a solar panel installed and some other minor bits now ticked off, she's getting close to being properly C-shaped, just that engine niggle to sort. Instead of continuing to poke around, I decided to call in some help. Oh hi Alex, it's got a Mercury 115 outboard on it. I'm having a couple of issues in it. I'm just wondering if I can book someone to come have a look if possible.
Yeah, no worries at all.
And it looks like we have it now figured out. I'll update in a future video. Now if you follow me over on Facebook, you might have seen I've been lucky to still get into some fantastic fishing over the last few weeks whilst my boat's been out of action. Keep an eye out for those videos as they're certainly worth a watch. For now though, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.